Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we're talking specifically about two-factor authentication on your software. As some of you may have seen, recently Clio's been updating their different options for two-factor authentication. In the past, you've been able to use a Google Authenticator app or at some point they allowed for some text messages. And now they have a new option that I want to talk to you tonight, and specifically that's 1Password. And using 1Password not only to store your passwords, of course, and your logins, but also using it as that authenticator app. And so let's talk about two-factor authentication, because I know most of you out there, frankly, are not using it for your practice management software. I know that because I have worked with a lot of firms getting into their Clio accounts, looking in their Clio accounts, talking to them about their Clio accounts. And I know that a lot of you are not using this feature. And so I want to share with you how easy 1Password has made this, because it's just absolutely very, very reasonably priced and very easy to use. So let's talk about what are the challenges. I'll tell you that I didn't know, but apparently there's an organization called the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. This is not just an organization, it's actually a branch of Homeland Security, part of the government. And they say that using multi-factor authentication like this two-factor authentication we're talking about makes you 99% less likely to be hacked. So if we're talking about security here today, which of course we are, then those are pretty high statistical numbers. And so I want to make sure that you are taking a look at a password manager to begin with, but specifically using that two-factor authentication. Because when a lot of jurisdictions are holding us as attorneys and business owners to a reasonableness standard, right? Like what type of software did you use or what type of precautions did you take in order to secure your client's information in your practice management software? There a lot of times, a lot of jurisdictions are looking at reasonableness. And so this type of a software is becoming more and more reasonable. Not only is it reasonably priced, but also reasonable to implement and to use. So when we're talking about examples here, we're looking specifically at 1Password tonight. It costs $20 a month for up to 10 users. So I would call that very reasonable. And we're going to look exactly here on our screen about how to use it and how it's going to benefit your firm. And honestly, if you're not using it, I really do think that you're taking a much larger risk than is necessary. And in my opinion, an unreasonable risk. So let's take a look at how we can implement this and how it works, because here's the reality. It can be a pain to use two-factor authentication, right? And if anyone's done it before, if you have text messages coming in with codes, those text messages can only go to one person. So if we're trying to use a certain account or credentials across our team, that can be very difficult. Also, if you're using an authenticator app that's not 1Password, a lot of times that can only be installed on one person's phone. And if that person's not there, or they're out, or they're sick, or they're busy, that's not very practical either. So it can make it a really logistical challenge. Well, of course, we're trying to keep particular people out, so that's the goal. But again, 1Password has really, really made this easy. So let's jump in and take a look. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'll share this link as well in the notes section, because this is a really great page to help you with this. But what happens is when you set up two-factor authentication on any of your softwares, in this case, we have an example here of Twitter, they give you this QR code, right, that you're supposed to scan with your phone and your authenticator app. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and scan this with the 1Password app on our computers. And I'll show you here in just a minute how that works. Once we've scanned it, it will save that in that password, login password that we've already saved for Twitter or whatever software it is. And it will be generating codes pretty much all the time. And whenever I open up that app and try to log in, it will not only, 1Password will not only fill in my login and my password, but now it will also fill in that code, the one-time code from the authenticator that's consistently and constantly being updated, right? So let's take a look at this video real quick here. And again, there's the QR code that the app, in this case Twitter, has provided to us. And we'll come over to our 1Password app on the plugin on the Chrome app here. And we'll go ahead and click these 3 buttons. And when we click the 3 buttons, it's going to give us the opportunity to scan a QR code. You'll see that right here. And when we scan that QR code, that's what's going to set this up, right? So now it's going to save on the Twitter login here in my 1Password. It's going to save my username, my password, and then of course my one-time password. And you can see that 13 seconds is actually counting down, and it's going to repopulate a new code in 13 seconds. And so again, it just makes that whole process that much easier and that much more secure. So if we finish out here, you'll see that it's counting down till the next password, and then it's going to start all over again. So again, just a really great opportunity to, for not a very large fee, to become that much more secure and to be housing our login information and in return our clients' information that much more securely. And in my opinion, very reasonable both in price and in use. So if you haven't checked it out, please do take a look at 1Password's Authenticator application capabilities. And please, whatever you do, start using 2-factor authentication. Start using a password manager so that your team can keep your clients' information super, super safe. I know that a lot of us are working with VAs. We're working with teams all over the country, all over the world, and we want to make sure that that information stays as secure as possible. Now, if you'd like other tips like these, please check out Streamlined Legal Plus, where we are constantly working with our team to provide you with some excellent, excellent guidance, not only in areas of practice management, but when we're looking at our firms as a whole. So thanks for joining me tonight. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.